And I go to the Commons, and we see that rather interesting little ceremony where, as I arrive at the Commons, they slam the doors in my face.
Because, of course, it's a very, very powerful symbol of the supremacy and power of the House of Commons. That's what it's about.
Up to the doors of the chamber of the House of Commons, where Black Rod will have that door, of course, slammed in his face.
Parliament is not just the House of Commons, not even just the House of Commons and the House of Lords. It is the Crown and those two distinguished houses. And at the opening of Parliament, we have the one occasion, one formal occasion, when you have all three elements of Parliament joined together. And the Queen comes to address her members.
Black Rod, David Leakey, ready to make his way down towards the central lobby. And he'll wait there for the signal from the House of Lords, because that'll be his signal to make his way down to the House of Commons and to summon the MPs.
She comes to the House of Lords, sits on the throne, as you saw, I expect, on the television, with her peers and her bishops and the judges. Not all of the judges, incidentally, will be members of the House of Lords. They come from the judiciary.
My lords, pray be seated.
And then she indicates to the Lord Great Chamberlain that she would wish for the Commons to be brought to the House of Lords. The House of Lords, incidentally, in a chamber which is called the Parliament Chamber. And so that gives it yet another sort of context.
Just over my shoulder there you can see Inspector Joe Kennells, who's preparing for Hats Off Strangers, which he shouts as the Speaker comes through, telling the public to take their hats off in deference to the Speaker. He has admitted to me to a little bit of nerves, and he has a dual role today. He has to do that, and then he will accompany Black Rod through here up to the doors of the chamber of the House of Commons, where Black Rod will have that door, of course, slammed in his face.
This is not just pantomime. There's a real importance in the fact that Black Rod is sent by the Queen to summon her Parliament, her House of Commons.
My lord! Gentlemen! The King comes! He comes with 100 men-at-arms! Stand aside, gentlemen, if you please. Halt! Open in the name of the King!
Black Rod is sent by the Queen to summon her Parliament, her House of Commons, but the door is slammed shut. And that goes back to the extraordinary divisions that blew up during the Civil War.
Mr. Speaker, gentlemen, you must pardon this infringement of your privilege, but I will not detain you long. Mr. Speaker, I must make bold with your chair.
The fact that Charles I sent soldiers into the House of Commons to arrest 5 members of Parliament, and did arrest them.
I have here a warrant for the arrest of 5 members of this House. John Pym, Henry Ireton, John Hampden, Oliver Cromwell, and Sir Arthur Hazelrig upon a charge of treason. I see that the birds have flown. Mr. Speaker, where are these gentlemen?
May it please your Majesty, I have neither eyes to see nor tongue to speak, except as this house gives me leave.
Well, sir, I have eyes. I see that one of them is here. Captain?
Take him. Any action against any member of this House is a breach of privilege. And I move this House declares as public enemies any who lay hands upon its members. And I further move that any such action against this House be considered a crime against the people and treason against this nation.
So be it. Mr. Speaker, you will inform the members of this House that their presence is no longer required by the nation. This Parliament is, by my authority, terminated, dissolved.
And ever since then, no sovereign's been allowed onto the floor of the House of Commons, and we decide whether or not we're going to walk along and hear what the Queen has to say. So it symbolises this balance of power, not only between Parliament and the Queen, but crucially between the elected House of Commons and the appointed House of Lords.
Is that point always clear? I mean, do you think people understand the significance of, that part of the ceremony, which is something to do with the very important struggle that took place, the fact that the House of Commons today has a very, very different purpose and status to the upper chamber?
I don't actually think they always do, and it's always worth explaining that again and again, even though I know that just listening to Jack there explaining it again, it does just remind you of the importance of this. And as Jack said, it's not this isn't a pantomime or in any way, shape or form. This is about our history and our heritage, and this shows just the importance of it.
As I arrive at the Commons, they slam the doors in my face. I have to knock 3 times with my rod, and eventually they open the doors. I go in and summon the Commons to attend upon Her Majesty in the House of Peers.
Mr. Speaker, Her Majesty the Queen commands this honourable House attends Her Majesty immediately in the House of Peers.
At that point, Mr. Speaker leads the procession with me on his right of the Commons coming to the House of Lords. The Queen reads her speech, and after the Queen leaves, then the Commons depart.